7:05 on Channel 95.7 with Connie and Curtis.
I have for you a Kardashians update.
Like your game?
My game, The Kardashians Hollywood. Kim Kardashian Hollywood. I downloaded it July 1st.
Yes.
Okay, it is now November 3rd. I ascended to the top. I was Kim Kardashian Hollywood royalty. I was the #1 star. And then I got to a point where I was going to have to spend some money, and I didn't want to spend the money. So I said, I'm going to tank. I'm going to tank it.
Right.
I'm going to go from first to worst, and then try to do the old Robert Downey Jr. and get back to the top. Let me tell you where I'm at, friend.
Okay, so wait, where were you at your highest point? How many fans?
192.8 million fans.
Okay.
So
highest.
I then threw some sweatpants on and a raincoat and walked around to all my jobs with that.
Okay.
Which that came back to bite me in the bottom.
Why?
Because I went to Kim Kardashian's Halloween party, and what a great costume. So I actually got some love. I gained 350,000
See what happens
fans.
when you wear sweatpants?
Exactly, for that. But I went from 193 to 1.1 million. I will be, by the end of today, I will be on the C list.
Okay.
And then hopefully by the end of tomorrow or Wednesday, I will be back to the E list and then try to begin to climb back out of the ruins of my career.
Well, I can't wait to see if you do.
It is awesome because I'm still doing all the fun things. Like right now, I'm at a mall opening in Dubai. Kim and I are there because she can't think of anyone else that she would want with me.
Of course.
Even though I'm falling apart. Like I'm a mess.
Right. But she's loyal.
She's very loyal. So here I am. I have 1.1 million fans. I'm tanking this thing. I did win in a little Halloween battle. I won a fireman hat. So I'm wearing a raincoat, sweatpants, and a fireman helmet. And when I showed up in Dubai, they loved it.
Yeah?
I gained fans because of the helmet. What a
That's
great
hilarious.
look, they said at the mall. Because they think that I'm so just ridiculous. Like, this is American.
You must be trend-setting is what they're thinking.
Exactly. Dude,
setting a trend.
Dude's wearing a fireman helmet, a raincoat, and sweatpants. Let's get it going. But yeah, I was checking because I was curious. I was like, how long did it take me to rise to the length?
Right.
I had not been B list, which I am right now, since July 14th.
That's a while ago.
I had not been C list. No, I was B list. The longest. I entered the B list on July 6th. So then I had 8 days of B list, and then I climbed to the A list.
So do you have a new game in your sights that you're going to start playing after this one?
I don't know.
No?
I've been playing a lot of like Flappy Bird. I'm up to 4.
I love the name of that.
So I feel good
Flappy
about
Bird.
that. Yeah, Words with Friends really is kind of where I'm living.
Okay.
Now, like using the brain. Played Scrabble, a family game of Scrabble on Saturday. So it was me, Charlotte, who is 8, Elizabeth 9, Haley who's 12, and Katie, who is my age. That's my wife. Guess who won?
Charlotte.
Charlotte won. Now, we didn't keep score. It was just get rid of your tiles.
Okay.
But Charlotte, the 8-year-old, beat us all at Scrabble.
Is there a word that she won with?
Den, D-E-N. There was an E standing there. I had to skip 2 rounds. I had 1 Q and 4 I's left for a few rounds toward the end. I'm like, I'm not going to win. I'm out. And so I ended up.
Can you speak other languages when you're playing Scrabble?
Quiet! No, you.
Like key?
No, you
What is
cannot.
that?
Well, QI is a word.
Yeah.
But
What
you
what does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay.
But you got to be able to put it in its own place. Like I would need either an
Okay.
I or a Q on the board
Okay.
to play. You can't just put out in the middle of the board
Right.
QI.
I've never
So,
played Scrabble.
What? We need to start.
Yeah.
You,
Never
me,
played.
a dictionary, bottle of Fireball. Let's do this.
Okay, so Charlotte won with Den.
Charlotte finished off with Den. Now, I did have to play her last 4 or 5 words for her, so I like to take a little credit in the win, too.
Of course you do.
But definitely she beat me. I did get rid of 2 of the I's, so then I ended up with a Q and 2 I's. Katie had a V and 1 I left. Elizabeth had like an S and a T. She would have played set to win, so she was mad because she's like, I was gonna win. I'm like, nope, Charlotte won. And Haley, I think, had an O, a U, and an A. Like Haley was out too. Just ridiculous. We'll get the Scrabble going. We'll invite you and Dan over next time. A little 7-person battle royale. Scrabble Royale, we'll call it.
I know. My mom always talks about how, we played so many board games growing up. And I'm like, where was I? I was probably at Grandma's again in Lansing.
Hey, it's family game night.
Let's ship Connie off to Lansing.
Let's send Connie over to the neighbor's
Probably
house.
what happened. I really don't remember playing any board games. Like when I was in college, I played Monopoly for the first time. I was in my 20s.
Okay, and you're probably still playing that exact game.
I played it one time.
It takes so long
One
to
time.
play.
I've never played it since.
Why not? Did you not win?
I used to play backgammon a lot.
I don't know how to play backgammon.
And I don't remember how.
Okay.
I found my backgammon set when we were moving, and I was like, I need to get online and see how to play backgammon again, because I don't totally remember, because it's been years.
I downloaded it to my phone, because one of the Survivor seasons, they were playing backgammon. I'm like, I would like to maybe play that. I downloaded it on the phone, and I have no idea how to play.
Yeah.
So most of the moves, it says, you can't make that move. I'm like, I don't know how to play.
Wake up.
Wake up.
722 at Channel 95.7 with Connie and Curtis. 45 degrees downtown GR right now. 57 and some sunshine today.
Yeah, this is a
Look
perfect,
at how bright it is.
a perfect day. It's not even 7:30. The sun is out. Like, we are loving it.
I love the week after fall back.
The problem is, this is only going to last for like another month.
I know.
And it's going to be dark today at like 3:30 in the afternoon.
But then don't we hit our peak and then we start going back the other way in like January?
Yeah. So like either...
We only get 2 months really of my favorite time of year.
The super dark, quiet time. You feel gypped.
I do feel gypped. It should be longer than that.
Well, I'm sorry that you don't get it. Like, don't you just like the super bright, awesome, fun days?
I do, and then I'm ready for the super dark, go to bed early days.
So will you go to bed earlier since it's dark out? So like if it's dark at 6, would you start getting ready for bed at 6?
No. No.
No. Okay.
It just makes it easier to go to bed.
Okay.
When we're in the peak in the summertime and it's not dark until 10 o'clock.
It's
very
difficult.
hard for me to go to bed at 8.
That was my hardest thing as a kid. Like I would be a kid and it would still be sunny. We'd have to come inside at like 9.
Right.
Okay, go to bed. And you're like, it's still 90 degrees and it's sunny and everybody's having some fun. You don't deal with that in November and December.
Right.
It's 3 o'clock, you're on the school bus home and it's dark and you're like, I don't know about this.
I always feel for everybody with normal jobs, like 8 to 5 jobs where you go to work and it's dark and then you come home and it's dark.
Yeah.
That must be horrible.
You'd be miserable the whole time, right?
I was just reading that we need at least like 10 minutes of sun exposure a day.
Okay. Well, we live in the wrong part of the country for that then.
I know.
What a shock yesterday to see the sun. Like yesterday was a gorgeous day. And Saturday too.
Beautiful.
On Saturday, Katie said, I feel like I haven't seen the sun in a year.
No.
Well, obviously we had,
Right.
but she just felt like we had not, and it was so windy and blustery on Friday.
I know.
I mean,
then yesterday it wasn't so windy.
Right.
And it was so sunny.
Well, and then it just makes me sad. Like, it gets so sunny, and now Brittany Maynard didn't get to see the nice, beautiful, sunny day yesterday.
So Brittany Maynard is the woman who, 29 years old, moved to Oregon so she could die with dignity. They have the law there.
Right, where you can just decide, hey, I'm going to die, and I'm going to be done.
She was diagnosed with glioblastoma, which is a brain tumor, and she said, you know what? The way they told me that I was going to die, I did not want that to happen.
No, that's 6
for
months.
myself, for my family.
Right, that 6 months, she was like, no, I'm going to just make peace with everyone that I need to, and my husband and I, we're going to hang out here, and we're going to make this... We're going to do this all right.
Well,
do it our way.
What was that, like a month ago that she announced she was going to do that?
Yes, on the 1st.
And then it just went viral. Everybody was talking about it. And then
we love that kind of story.
Yes. And then last Thursday, she kind of alluded to the fact that it may not happen. She doesn't feel sick enough yet.
Right. She said she was feeling a little sicker. But then Saturday, she wrote on Facebook, goodbye to all my dear friends and family that I love. Today is the day. So she did end up go with the Saturday.
She did.
That she had said, she wasn't going to. Do you think there was some pressure on her from like the Oregon people who support this law? Like, hey, you set a day, you got to go. Otherwise, you're going to drag it on.
When I was reading that, because I woke up this morning and saw the news.
Okay.
And when I was reading that she had done it on Saturday, I thought, I hope that society didn't force her to do that because she felt like she had to, because she had said she was on the cover of People magazine. Right. The whole world was talking about her.
I bet some of that did play into it.
That's what I was thinking.
I had set a date, and then I had said I'm not going to do that. And it's kind of like, well, but you set a date, you got to go. So all these people who are like the right to end your life, they're like, no, you need to probably do it, is what my first thought was too.
I doubt that they told her that, but I bet she definitely felt that. Or maybe she wasn't even in a place where she was looking at what was online at that point, you know?
That could be.
I don't know.
I did like, though, seeing all of the, like, people are torn about this. Like,
I saw it
it's
posted.
suicide. So we beg people not to commit suicide. We're
Right.
like, please seek help. Do whatever you can. And then, or move to Oregon and kill yourself.
Right. There are 5 states where you can do it.
Okay. Now,
And I don't know what all 5 of them are.
because Michigan,
but-
we had Dr. Kevorkian
Yes.
for the longest time, and that
Yes.
is illegal now, right? He
Yes.
went to prison for doing that. So you can't do that here, but same kind of thing. So here in Michigan, we are a little more prepared for this type of discussion because we've already had it 20, 25 years ago. This happened here.
I saw one of our local stations posted it on their Facebook page. And again, I saw this morning. They posted it last night, and within, I don't know, it had like 300 comments on it.
Okay.
People feel very strong, passionately, both ways.
Both ways,
Both
right.
ways.
I mean, we beg and plead. Robin Williams 2 months ago. And everyone is like, hey, if you feel like you need to end your life, talk to someone. We can, don't do it. We can fix this.
Right.
We can, and fix is a bad word, but that's what they were saying. We
Right.
can make you feel better. We
Right.
can do what it takes.
We can help.
And then there are these 5 states where, okay, you go and do whatever you want to do. Have fun. Our hands are washed. You know, the states said, hey, it's cool. Do you think...
I feel sorry for her family. She was an only child, and her mom. Did you watch any of the videos that she
No,
released?
no.
I watched. I think she released 2 of them.
Okay.
I watched both of them, and the first one her mom was in, and her mom was just. I mean, she was having a hard time talking about it.
Right, I believe
This is
it.
my only child. They've been so close. You know. Yeah.
Well, and like my dad had lung cancer, so
Right.
I mean, you feel that every single day talking to them, and you're happy for every minute that you get with
Right.
these people.
Right.
So then when they set a deadline and say, "Hey, I'm going to die on this day," I mean, that has got to just crush you. I mean, with my dad, we thought that he was getting better. It's like, okay, this is
Right.
getting better. This is good. Whether chemo is working, all of these things are coming into place, and it's perfect. And then he got an infection and died from that.
Right.
So it wasn't even the cancer, but he
Right.
had beaten the cancer.
Right.
So you hear of you have brain cancer and you're going to die in 6 months. Then you also hear the story of the person who says, 12 years ago, they told me I was going to die in 6 months.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and here I am. I did what it took. I didn't want to give up. And I fought for this. And maybe we found some way to study me and make me more beneficial
Right.
than just moving to Oregon and dying.
Right.
I mean, I'm kind of
Well, and she was fighting for the cause too, because she thinks everybody should have the right to choose
right.
if that's what the way they want to end their life. It was interesting because I was talking to my mom about it. What day? Oh, their anniversary was Friday, so I talked to her on Friday, and she said, I look at your father. Now, my father is battling Parkinson's right now and going downhill very fast.
Okay.
Battling Parkinson's right now, prostate cancer, lots of things are going on. And she goes, I just look at your father and I think, and they're very faithful Catholics.
Okay.
He would never do it. And he's
Right.
he's not in a comfortable place right now.
Right.
He's ill. And she goes, and I look at him and I think he would never even entertain the idea of doing that.
Well, and what if they called you today and said, "Hey, this Brittany story is all over the place, and we are going to do this"? You would absolutely try to talk them out of it, right? You would not say, "Oh, okay, hey, that's your idea. Okay, fine, have fun in Oregon."
You know what? If my parents called and said they were going to move there so my dad could do it,
Yeah,
no, I wouldn't try to talk him out of it.
you wouldn't.
No.
What if your mom
What if
and dad and said, "Hey, we're both going to do it. We're just going to go do it.
oh man.
We're just going there." And
My mom's not ill.
Right.
She is as she is today.
Yeah.
I would try to talk her out of it.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh no, I just can't
But
imagine."
I can't. I don't know what it's like to be a person with a terminal illness.
Right.
So it's very hard for me to say what I would do or what I would not do, because I don't know what it's like to feel that.
What if Dan came to you? He's terminally ill, and he says, "You know what? We got to move. We got to go do this."
Man, I think I would support him.
You would? Wow. See,
I think I would.
think I would.
I'm sure there's part of me that would want to talk him out of it, but I think Man, I don't know.
I think
I might support him.
I think I would try to find so many people to not let Katie do it.
But I think I would try and push the date back as far as possible. But I was reading an article too related to Brittany Maynard, and people have been talking about it. It's been brought up so much lately, and there was a woman who said that she wished her husband would have had the choice because he ended up dying such a horrific death because of cancer.
Okay.
And watching him was horrible. It was horrible for him going through it, but he never had the choice to be able to do it.
Well, and what do they do? I mean, I guess that's what I don't understand because Robin Williams is in California.
Right.
He does the choice. He kills himself not by stopping eating or stopping tubes. I don't know how she did it. You know more about this. What does that mean?
Her doctor diagnosed a pill to her.
Okay, so you take a pill. And then
in the first video, she actually showed the prescription bottle.
Okay.
And said she had it in looked like a little planner.
Okay.
And she opened it up and said, this is how I'm going to kill myself.
This is what I'm going to take on that day. It's going to be the first. And then she kind of got cold feet and said, no, I'm feeling better. I'm not going to do it. And then did, in fact, do it on the first. Probably. I think somebody came to her, probably from the Right to Die camp, and said, hey, we really kind of need to do that. Now, that could just be because I see a lot of movies like that. But
right.
You think that somebody in power came and said, now's not the time.
Hey, you said you're going to do this?
No, now's not the time to falter. We are in the national spotlight.
Right.
We are winning this. This is a debate that's being held at dinner tables. We can't have you stop being the face.
Now, Lori, you're going to tell us that in Curtis's scenario with my mother and father, my mother wouldn't be able to do it with them, right?
No, there's absolutely no way she would be able to do that.
Legally, right.
Right. Nobody would give her the pill to take to kill herself.
Well, she doesn't need a pill to kill herself. Look at Romeo and Juliet. So her dad takes the poison pill, and then she takes her life. Right there.
Right. Okay. Well, I just wanted to make it clear that if you're someone suffering from depression, they're not going to give you a pill to commit suicide.
Right.
You have to have a terminal illness.
What do you think about Brittany Maynard, Lori?
Oh, it crushes me. I'm so sad that had to happen, but I'm completely okay with that law, and I think that every state should have that law because what is life if there's no quality in your suffering? You
but you could say that same thing about somebody who has this depression or has schizophrenia where they can't stop their head. And what is their life? Their life is the same. So why does one doctor say, hey, we're going to counsel you, and another doctor says, you know what, with you, we're going to give you this pill. Go ahead.
Well, no, there's medications that can help with schizophrenia and depression.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you guys, Lori and Curtis, do you think that's because the question you just posed, Curtis, because depression, I don't believe it is. Now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, isn't a terminal illness?
Well, terminal means it'll kill you, right? So it's not a terminal illness.
Right.
Exactly.
So if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, go ahead and take these pills. But we can get you to the light, so we're going to steer you out to these pills. We're going to take you here. We're going to go on a hayride instead and make you feel real good about yourself.
On a hayride?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to try to boost your spirits. We're going to take you caroling. We're going to do all these things that are hopefully going to let you see how great your life is.
Well, that's not how you treat depression, but...
Right.
That's what a lot of people think is, they'll pull yourself up by the bootstraps, but that's not how you treat depression. So
because we don't understand mental illness, right?
There's a lot of misunderstanding about mental illness.
Yeah, there absolutely is in the world.
All right, so for you, it's okay.
Thanks, Lori.
You are hoping that this goes around the country. This becomes a national law.
Are you talking to me?
No.
Oh, Lori's gone.
I was talking to Lori.
Oh, Lori is
gone.
Lori
is gone now, too?
Lori is gone.
Brittany and now Lori?
Curtis.
That's sad.
Really?
Oh, she just is gone from the phone.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so hayride's not the way to treat depression. But it would be good. We could all use a hayride. I mean, fall is probably your favorite time of the year.
I mean, I do love a hayride.
Yeah.
Really?
Right? Amanda, you like the hayrides?
I like hayrides, yeah.
So it's not the pill that's going to cure you.
No.
But it will show you that people love you. It would take you out. That's what I meant. It'd show you, here's what we have. let's do it. So
Sometimes I just look at you and I go, it is so inappropriate for me to laugh right now.
Well, and then I wonder, speaking of that, so the last thing that this Brittany Maynard says on her Facebook post on Saturday before eating the magic pills is pay it forward. So what are we paying forward?
Wait, how did she say pay it forward?
She said, goodbye world, spread good energy, pay it forward. So that's,
energy forward.
That's good. Forward. So she has good energy. She'll pay it forward. We're all supposed to be kind to one another. World is a beautiful place, she says. She loved traveling. She loved her friends. She really got to write. This is a perfect thing that she wrote. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's mychannel957.com. It's a nice little, what is that? What do you call that? Like a suicide note.
A goodbye letter.
Yeah, same thing.
Hi, Heather.
Hi. I had a question for Curtis. Curtis, what would be your reasons for wanting Katie to stay if she were terminally ill? Would it be for you or would it be for her?
I would think that there could be some hope that they can fix it. Like I said, my dad had lung cancer and everything was going, and they said to him he had 3 months to live. So if he had just moved to Oregon, he ended up living 7 months. And sure, the last month was pretty bad, but that wasn't the cancer. It was something else that got him. So if we had known how bad it was going to be about that,
but
maybe,
your reaning, but what she's saying is your reasoning for asking Katie to not do it. It would be for her, not for you.
No, not for me.
Okay.
Seriously, the faster that I can be living the single life,
Curtis,
the better.
Stop it.
But
everything's a joke.
I would want her here, and I would want to do everything.
So that would be selfish,
to cure her. No, to save her.
Okay.
For herself. So yeah, it's nothing about me. It's not because I can't fathom how I would take care of the 3 girls or get them to cheerleading and
but because she's the love of
and,
your life.
Yeah, and I would want her.
What do you think about that, Heather?
Well, I think that, on some levels, it's got to be the patient's decision. I work in healthcare. I see people that are, in the various stages of illness. And I think, with the gal out in Oregon, it was kind of her decision. She felt like she wasn't living a quality life anymore. She didn't want to suffer. She didn't want to put her family through suffering because it can be hard. I mean,
right.
I watched my own grandfather pass away from cancer, and there are some parts of it that I wish I would have had experienced. I love being there for him, but there are images that, I don't want to associate with him. I don't want my last memories of him, gasping for breath and being very ill and stuff like that. And I think, on her part, that's a decision that she made that she didn't want to put her family through.
I think, though, it's so confusing to the 13-year-old kid who doesn't feel like he can talk to anyone. And then he sees on the news how we are celebrating this woman for having the courage to take her own life and go to Oregon and do it. And here he is. He's like, oh, my life is way worse than hers. It's never going to get better for me either. And we all know that it will get better for him, but he doesn't think it.
Right.
So then he grabs the gun out of the hunting cabinet and boom. So
what do you say about that, Heather?
Well, I think that's, honestly, you have to be aware. If you've got a child that's sick, that's a subject you need to approach. If it's a 13-year-old with cancer or, even depression, it's an awareness thing, especially with children with cancer. It's a discussion that you kind of have to have. It sucks as a parent to have to, have a discussion like that, a possibility, but it's a discussion that, you kind of have to approach, and for kids that have depression, it's hard. Sometimes parents don't always see that, and whether or not, a child takes their life, it's a sad thing, but I think that, it's about us approaching the subject, even if your kids aren't ill, having this discussion with your kids and their thoughts about it, using it as an education point to say, this is what's going on in the world. What are your thoughts on this? How do you see it? I think that would be a decent topic. Your children are old enough, and they know what's going on in the world.
Yeah. And just talking in general.
Right.
I mean, talking about all of this stuff in general. Thanks, Heather, for the phone call.
I mean, it just is, it's such a blurred line, I think, when we see on the news how courageous this woman is for doing the same thing that if someone in our neighborhood committed suicide, we would be like, oh my gosh, then the talk comes out. Hey, you don't have to kill yourself. Robin Williams kills himself. You don't have to do that. It's okay. It'll get better. And this woman.
Well, with so many young person suicides, you see everybody after the fact saying, I had no idea.
Right.
I had no clue.
Oh yeah, you got to
no idea.
talk.
And I wonder if that, I don't know. if you would have talked a lot beforehand, would you have an idea? Do you have to ask specific questions?
You must have to.
I mean, you can't just say, how was your day? And they say, okay. You know, you'd have to really dig, it seems.
Right. Exactly.
If they wanted to hide that,
and,
you know?
And who wants to share that?
Right.
No one wants to share
Especially a young kid.
That they feel like garbage.
Right.
Like, because we are taught that you don't share that.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hello, how are you?
Good,
Stephanie.
Steph.
What's
what
up?
did you want to say?
Well, I work in an ALS clinic,
Okay.
and I feel like in this situation, you know, we talk a lot with them about depression and fix that portion of it, or not necessarily fix it, but help them. And a lot of them have a great quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there are situations where, be it at the end, where they're absolutely miserable, the family is miserable, and there's nothing you could do. I think situations like this would be fantastic to help them, but you can't. And just the difference between suicide and, you know, I guess assisted death is you have to talk to a physician. You have to talk to someone about it.
Right.
If it can be fixed and can be helped, that's completely different.
Now, when an ALS patient is at the stage where you're talking about, where you know, there could be a thought of doing that. Would they be able to do it themselves?
No.
Okay.
You have to. There's medications like.
No, but that's what I mean. Would they physically be able to give themselves a medication?
No, because it has to be prescribed, and that can't be prescribed here in this state.
Right.
No, but I mean physically. Let's say it's prescribed. Let's say a doctor gives it to them. Are they able to open up an ALS patient at this point that you're talking about? Are they able to open up the bottle and put it in their mouth?
Some of them, yes.
Okay.
And a lot of them, no.
Okay.
So it would have to be
earlier
or it would have to be given by a family member, and that brings a whole nother
right
level to the picture.
Well, and then how does this? And this is just me not knowing. Let's say that this Brittany Maynard was in Wisconsin or in Michigan or here in the Midwest. Okay, one of these states where you cannot do it.
Right.
Let's say that this happens to her here. Does she like if they say, "Hey, turn off her machines"? Will the hospital do that? So it's not give her the pill. It's, okay, we've decided that we don't want
You might mean like if somebody's in a car accident and...
No, I mean like this situation with Brittany
But she wasn't on machines.
So, right. So then she's just at her house all the time, and that's where she took the pills?
Yes, in her bedroom.
Yeah. Okay, so here it would never work. But
no.
So in a car accident, hey, unplug the machines.
Well, that's why you have to have a living will.
Right.
And what is it called? Direct... I don't know.
Direct deposit.
Not direct
not
deposit.
direct deposit.
Okay.
Direct or now I can't. Advanced directive.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which are very, very important, and everybody should have one.
Yes, absolutely. So they are forced legally to do exactly what you want.
So she was just sitting at her house. She wasn't hooked up to tubes or anything.
No.
No,
that's why she wanted to do this before because she wouldn't have been able. She didn't want to be at the point where the decision was taken away from her, the choice.
Okay.
Or that a family member would be forced to make a decision, and the emotions take over, and her wants not be followed through.
Well, but if you have that advance directive or you have the living will, don't they have to? Like, doesn't everybody have to follow that?
They're supposed to, yes.
Okay.
But if
But she didn't want to get to that point where she was living on a machine.
Right.
She wanted to have quality of life and then be gone.
Okay.
And even she was at the Grand Canyon last week. It was the last thing on her bucket list, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago now. And she said, beautiful. It was fascinating. She loved it. But then afterwards, she had 2 separate seizures that were the worst seizures she's had yet.
Okay.
She could tell that she was going downhill very quickly.
Wouldn't you just jump into the Grand Canyon?
No.
No.
Man, I think I would.
No.
If I knew that in 3 days I was going to be killing myself and I'm at the Grand Canyon, I think I would go.
No.
But I don't think it should be called killing herself. It was death with
letting
dignity.
a doctor kill her. I'm sorry.
Death with dignity.
Death with dignity.
That's what the law is called, isn't it? The death with dignity law. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't get it. What's the difference between just throwing herself into the Grand Canyon? I mean, a ranger would have to clean it up.
Well, there's a big difference.
So that's probably the only thing.
A ranger would clean it up. Do they go down into the canyon?
They take little tours with the donkeys. You can ride them down and do all kinds of fun stuff. You can do drones.
Oh, Stephanie.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm sorry too, Stephanie. I'm glad that you feel my pain.
If I knew that I was going to die on Saturday and I'm at the Grand Canyon on Wednesday, I probably would just throw myself into the Grand Canyon.
But if you're lucky, you would just get hurt really bad.
Right.
Right. But then my living will would say, if I'm hooked up to any machines, get rid of me.
There you go.
But a lot of people would say that's not dignified.
It is not
And that's
dignified.
why it's called death with dignity.
Okay. It's death with like daredevilness.
Right.
There you go.
That's exactly what that would be. Stephanie, thank you for the phone call.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. Let's go to Becca. Good morning, Becca.
Becca agrees with me.
Well, I see what you mean about the line, because how do you teach a 13-year-old that thinks, his world is ending and he wants to pick up a gun? But I don't know the answer to that. I think you're right. There is a line there, but at the same time, I don't think that it's suicide that these patients are deciding to commit. Like this past caller was just talking about, and that I hope that the media can try to portray this as an informed way of ending your life, and that there are people involved, and that it's not okay for a 13-year-old to pick up a handgun or whatever, or OD or whatever, and that, there's people involved in this decision. So, but I know, I agree, Curtis, like I believe that we should all have the right to choose this method, but at the same time, how do you keep the uninformed young people, from educated enough that this is not ending your life because a girl broke up with you. This is a
Absolutely.
terminal illness. So, yeah, that is a tough one.
Now, do you think that we here in Michigan are a little better, more adept to this because we had Kevorkian 20 years ago? Like, we've already been through this whole discussion?
I believe we are.
But so many people 20 years ago thought Kevorkian was a crazy person.
Right.
So many people in Michigan. Well, I lived in Michigan at the time.
That's what I'm
thought
saying.
Thought he was a crazy person.
But it's like us as the grandma and grandpa sitting on the front porch watching.
Like, okay, kids, we've been through this.
Exactly. Yeah. Watching the niece and nephew trying to figure out if they're going to have their first kiss before they get out of the truck or not, and then they come in and we're like, ha, 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 remember when we did that? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, America. Go figure this out for yourselves.
Right.
We already figured this all out.
I read an article about a family that went through this, and they had a recording too, so I listened. It was a daughter, a husband, and the mother was diagnosed with something terminal, and it wasn't cancer, it was something, deterioration of her brain or something, and so she said she was not going to live and put her family through this. So she decided to do this, and they had a celebration of life. The daughter was involved. The daughter was upset at the time, but a week after everything was done, her and the husband and the daughter said, you know what, I couldn't have been prepared enough if she would have just died from the illness. And that the daughter and the husband, they were okay with it. The daughter had her own family, and she said that her mother's not going to be around, but she found peace in saying goodbye. And so, you look at it like that way too. The family can accept it and learn from it and say goodbye in a way that they're not, upset that they have to make the decision to pull the plug or not.
Well, and I think it's so hard for us to understand, like in a week and a half ago, a very good family friend who was relatively young, she was 52, took her life. And we've known this girl for her whole entire life, literally her whole life. And my mom and I were talking about it the other day, on Friday night again. We were talking about it, and my mom said, what do you think it is that gets people to that final step? And I said, I don't think we know.
Right.
You and I cannot comprehend why she could do this.
Until you're there.
So it's so hard for us to say, it's this or that or the other thing. We can't even comprehend it.
No, you're 100% right.
We don't understand. We have no idea. I have no idea what it's like to be terminally ill, and I have no idea what it's like to have clinical depression.
You would say, like, sometimes working with me is kind of like a terminal illness, though.
Situational.
Like I see
situational depression working with you, but
see
not
it in your
clinical.
Eyes some days. You gloss over a little bit, and I'm like,
Curtis.
okay, I see what's happening over
Becca,
there.
good points. Thank you for calling in this morning. Yeah, somebody, who was that was on hold that we lost?
That was Stacy.
No, before that, whatever. Anyway, somebody called and said that, and we didn't get to her. We lost her call before, but she said depression is a silent killer, and she's right.
Right, absolutely.
She's right.
So, here we have this dignified law in 5 of the states, but don't have it. So Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Hawaii, and Connecticut. So 6 of the states you can go, although Oregon is not on that list. and Oregon.
What's that, Amanda?
I said I didn't put Oregon on there because we knew that.
And
okay.
Oregon.
So is that 7 states then?
At 7. So Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New
Okay.
Hampshire, Massachusetts, Hawaii, Oregon, and Connecticut.
Okay.
So the big 7. So out east, where it's bitter cold all the time, and then
west.
the one west and Hawaii. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to do that in Hawaii? It's beautiful there. Seriously.
I think a lot of those states are beautiful.
Maybe dump into a volcano. See if they could do that. That'd be cool.
Oh, Curtis.
Would that be cool?
Seriously.
I think I would have gone in the
It's
Grand Canyon.
7:51.
Connie and Curtis, Michigan.
This is Judge James Robert Redford, and this was paid for by James Robert Redford for Supreme Court.
WLHT
FM and HD1.
Grand Rapids.
A Pop Crush radio station.
Connie and Curtis in the morning, and you mix it weekends. Online at mychannel957.com.
The new Channel 95.7. Channel 95.7 West Michigan traffic.
Good morning, Amanda here. Accident on East Paris, just south of 32nd Street. That crash is currently in the cleanup stages and should be gone soon. Also, things a slow go. Northbound 131 is stop and go from 28th Street all the way into the S curve. Eastbound 196 is also heavy and slow all the way from Granville. If you see something else out there, please give us a call, 7708-957.
I see something.
What do you see?
What do you see, Curtis?
I don't think Connie's wearing anything underneath her sweater today. She has a zip-up sweater, and I
Curtis.
think she's nude underneath it. Connie, would you care to comment?
Not nude.
Bra?
Yep.
Anything else?
Tank top.
Come on. When are
That
you,
will always be the not always.
When are you
that
gonna-
will mostly always be
when are
the
you going to go
answer.
nude sometime? That's never going to happen.
Nude? You mean nude under my sweater?
Yeah.
I don't know when the sweater calls for it.
Like for Dan?
Depends on the sweater.
So when you...
I'll always have a bra on, Curtis.
But you say at your house you always take the bra off.
Yes, and I also take the sweater off.
Oh, you won't go just sweater
No.
with it like zipped because that's hot.
No.
Because it's a zip up. So Connie's wearing a zip up sweater today. Has a hood. I mean, it's a good look.
Thanks.
And if it had nothing underneath,
You're such
Dan would like it.
a man.
Dan would like it mucho. That's all I have to say about it. Try it.
Try what?
Try that for
Taking
him.
everything off and just wearing nothing underneath it?
Yes.
Do I then leave it unzipped and just walk around the
Man,
house
if you want to.
with it unzipped?
Baby steps. I would say just zip it enough so that he sees that there's nothing under there. You just help him out. Hold his hand a little bit. And then his mind starts thinking, he's like, what the heck? Naked under there? What?
You are so weird. How do thoughts like that even go through your head?
Because you have the perfect sweater to give him the little surprise. Like the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Look at this. It's the thriller. Thriller, yeah. And then zip. Just take him out and you're all set.
Can we give away some Griffins tickets right now?
Oh my, we
Yay.
can. Wednesday afternoon. It's a day game that they're going. Is it not an afternoon? I thought it was afternoon. Is it night?
Oh, let me look real quick.
Let's
It
look
says
it up.
7 p.m. on my little sheet.
It does. I
That's what I
thought.
thought.
I thought it was the
sure my
afternoon.
little sheet is right.
Maybe
I have
I'm-
faith in my sheet.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have the.
Chicago Wolves, they're playing 5-pack right now. Caller 10-770-895-7.
Maybe I have the day wrong.
No, it's definitely Wednesday, right?
No, I know it's Wednesday.
Oh.
Maybe the number, like not the day, the number,
What number?
like the 5th.
Oh. You're
And then
thinking maybe it's like the 12th or something that you're thinking of?
One of these days it's the afternoon game. I thought it was this week. I thought I was going to it, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not. Katie and I were going to go to the afternoon game. It may not be this week. 770-895-7. We'll find out what time the game is. You got 5 tickets if you want to go. It's another Wednesday, so that means that if they win, you get a ticket to next Wednesday's game.
And if
You
you're
just
one of
roll.
the first 300 people to visit the Amway table in Section A, you get a free gift too. So
Ooh.
get there early.
Get there
Get your
early.
gift.
It's either at 7 or during the day part of the day. Did we find out what
Amanda,
time?
have you figured out?
I'm still looking.
We're still looking.
Okay, well, while she's looking, let's take our winner.
Okay. 770-895-7. Connie Curtis, who's this?
This is Leighton.
Leighton, you won tickets to the Griffins game on Wednesday.
Are you serious?
We are
Totally
dead serious,
serious.
Leighton.
Woo!
Yeah, you're going. And it's a winning Wednesday. So if they win, you go down to the little ticket office and trade in your tickets for tickets to the next Wednesday's game. You can keep it just rolling.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's the nice thing about Wednesdays
Yeah.
there
All right,
at Van
sweet.
Andel.
Yay, Leighton. Hold on a second. We're going
Hold
to get
on.
all your information.
We'll also find out what time the game is.
Amanda, have you found it out yet?
Okay. I'm a moron.
Okay.
I read it as that it was the manatee game, not matinee.
The old manatee game where they have manatees just out on the ice. Okay, so it's the matinee.
So where did you get 7 p.m. from?
I don't know.
Oh.
I read it as it was the Manatee game, though.
Okay, because
And I know that all of their night games always start at the same time. Not matinee.
I had a little bit of a heart palpitation there.
Palpitation?
Where I thought Katie and I were going to the game on Wednesday.
Had a palpitation.
I thought I was going to the game.
Oh.
And then
it's a matinee.
And then I get the little sheet here and it says at 7. I'm like, wait, am I not going to the game? I don't know.
So what time is the matinee game on Wednesday?
It's at 10 a.m.
Whoa, that's early.
That's quite a difference.
Yeah. It's 9 hours of a difference.
Leighton's going to want to be there for that 10 a.m. game.
Although, I'm reading this off the Chicago Wolves website, so it's probably 11 here because of the time change.
Yeah, it is.
So
it's at 11.
On the Griffins website?
Because I just typed Chicago Wolves versus Griffins on that date into Google.
We do everything the hard way around.
But I did.
Also, it's the Manatee game, apparently.
I went to
the NHL,
site.
and then I said, well, I'm just going to go to the Chicago website.
All right, hold on.
There was a link.
The game is Wednesday at 11 a.m.
Yes.
Leighton is going, and we have another 5-pack of tickets that we're going to give away before 10 o'clock.
And there'll be no manatees at the game.
Sadly. Now I wish there were manatees.
I kind of wish that there were too, right? Or at least mankinis, like the bull rat
or
swimsuit.
martinis.
Man, get some martinis, get everything going. Okay, so
Manatees.
11 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday is game. And
or 10 o'clock if you're in Chicago. But if you're in Chicago,
what
it's not really going to help you because the game is here.
What if I'm watching the game in Salt Lake City?
I don't know. Utah, that'd be 3 hours behind, right?
3 or 2.
Depending on what time of year.
Yeah.
What time of year? I'm just shutting Amanda's microphone off now.
Shut mine off too, would you?
I'm shutting yours off too now. It's 8:05 on 95.7.